This is a TalkStation original podcast.
On this week's episode of the Paper Boys podcast, JJ and I talk to Builder's Choice owner and angler Harris Huddle and Captain Brent Gaskill. We hear about their dramatic last day of the Big Rock when their 431-pound Blue Marlin held on for $1.8 million. It all starts right now on the Paper Boys podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Paper Boys podcast. I'm JJ Smith.
And I'm Zack Nally.
We're reporters with the Carteret County News-Times. We're joined today by Captain Brent Gaskill and owner and angler Harris Huddle of the Builder's Choice. Thanks for being with us, fellas.
Welcome, thank you.
So you all had a semi-eventful Big Rock week. Is that
Yeah, just semi, that's all.
So we'll set the stage here. So Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament is 6 days. And on day 2, Builder's Choice brings in a 431-pounder, puts him on third place on the leaderboard, which is the last money spot, puts him in the winner-take-all.
Yeah, so far they're
Division
the only
6.
boat at that point to bring in something that's qualified for the winner-take-all.
Division 6, right?
That's right.
Right. That one's worth like $1.5 million. The other one's like $300,000. So you're in line for a little bit of money.
And now you got to sweat it out. For the next...
And day 6, calls come in that 4 fish are coming to the weigh station. And Harris, where are you at that day?
Well, we were fishing that day.
Okay.
And so we're out there. One of the guys on the boat, he was kind of keeping track of it. And he said our 2 boats were bringing a fish in, but they weren't in that Super 20 that we were in. So I really wasn't concerned about that. And then I think it was after Lions End when the other boats finally boated their fish. And I really didn't hear about it till we got close to shore. Is who was coming in with the fish.
I'm still curious. Do you know, like, as soon as you see a boat has hooked up, do you already know that boat is in the Super 20 or not, or did you have to look it up?
We can look it up.
Sure.
Yeah, we can look it up, and that's what we did.
Okay.
And once we found out these other 2 boats had boated a fish, and found out they were in the Super 20, that's when I just said, well, let's just see what happens. I just from the day we weighed in that fish, I was expecting to be beat out. I really was. And I just took that mindset that we're going to probably get beat out.
Confidence level was not high, huh?
If we hang on, great. But, fish, I thought for sure it'd be
Yeah, it's only 31 pounds over the minimum, right? I mean,
right.
it's not a small fish, but I mean, in relation to big rock fish, it's not the biggest one. So you'd expect at some point.
2 500-pounders brought in that first day.
Yeah, and then no fish Wednesday, no fish Thursday, no fish Friday. Finally, here comes the flurry of boats on Saturday. Thankfully, none of it mattered until the last one.
Right.
And they roll up, and what was the poundage difference? Like,
was it 6 pounds?
Yeah, 5 or 6 pounds.
5 or 6
Yeah,
pounds?
nuts, yeah.
So where were you at for that one, Harris?
Actually, we were on the boat.
Okay.
And we just kind of, we knew what time the boat was getting in there, so we had pulled up on our phones and was, watching it and just waiting to see. And then when they shouted out 425, we just started jumping up and down and yelling, and it was, and actually the boat right beside us, they started yelling for us too. So
it's an incredible moment, and he and I were texting Saturday because I knew it was a big deal. Obviously, it was Big Rock. There's a lot of money on the line, but this boat, Builder's Choice, is no stranger to winning tournaments. This is a Triple Crown winner from just a few years ago. Caught a 900-pound fish, I think, at Pirates Cove. It was a big fish. KWLA winner, but this one is a little different because the money on the line is a lot more, and the prestige, and obviously of being a Big Rock. Was it different pressure that day than it has been in other tournaments where you've been waiting to see how you might place?
Well, being up on the leaderboard, that's the biggest thing. I fished this tournament for maybe 30 years, 40 years,
wow.
Something like that, and with my dad, and this is the first time I've ever been up on the leaderboard.
Oh, wow.
For the Big Rock with a big Blue Marlin.
Sure.
We've had, meat fish, up there went a daily on a meat fish and stuff like that, but my big fish being on the leaderboards, kind of outstanding even just for one day.
How about you, Brent?
I was nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, I was glad to be on the leaderboard, but I wanted to check. So if we finished 10th, and as long as we got the Super 20 category,
that's right.
I was going to be tickled to death.
You didn't need the leaderboard prestige.
No, I didn't need the leaderboard. I just wanted to check, yeah.
Now, JJ's written a story about it. you weren't on the docks
No.
when the last fish came on.
No, we went back in the slip. Harris's wife and some of her friends were standing on the dock, and everybody, they were getting on the boat, and a bunch of crowd were there coming to the boat, and I was about to have a nervous breakdown. And we tied the boat up. I was like, I'm going to the truck. I'll be right back. I went and got in the truck, and I was like, there's no way I'm hanging around here
I'm
waiting
outta
for
here.
this. I'm going home. Well, I know the crowd on the other boat that had that fish coming in, and me and Jeff hadn't texted each other in probably a week or so, but I didn't want to text him about his fish, but I had heard from a friend of mine that weren't fishing the tournament, was up in Oregon Inlet, that knew his mate, and they were texting and kind of told him what the measurements were of the fish, and the measurements was going to have the fish like 100 pounds bigger than mine, and I was just like, I ain't sitting around here to get told that I ain't going to win nothing. So I went home. I went to the house.
Took Scout the...
Scout was home waiting for me.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
I went home, sat on the couch, and Randy called me when the boat was coming down the channel there on the waterfront, and I was on the phone with him and
Now Randy who?
Randy Ramsey,
Okay.
and I was talking to him on the phone, and Mike Thompson was down at the way station down there. You know, he's one of the treasurers of the board or whatever, but I grew up with him, real good family friends, and he was texting me. He's like, hey, it's a decent fish. It looks about like yours. And when they measured, you know, they didn't put the length of it out, but they did. He heard, you know, Randy Gregory say the measurement of the fish, and he texted me and says, you know, 110, just under 110. And I was like, oh, man, this sucks. And then they picked it up and weighed it.
And you're still on the phone
Yeah,
as
I
they're
was
weighing
still on
it.
the phone with Randy, and yeah, I told Randy, I said, man, if you were here, I'd kiss you right now. I said, I got to go back to Moorhead. Daggone it.
You do. You got to get right in the car.
Yeah, so me and Scout jumped in the truck and went back to Moorhead.
Scout the
Yeah.
Labradoodle, we should
Yeah.
mention.
That's right. That's right. Who had jumped up and given you a big kiss
Yeah.
on Tuesday when you brought that fish in.
Yeah, I was pretty happy.
Now,
I got home. My mother-in-law was sitting was at my house. She had brought the dog there, and I had told my wife, I was like, tell your mother to drop the dog off. I'm like, drop the dog off.
right. Not,
I don't want nobody
I need to be
home.
alone with my
Yeah,
feelings
I don't
here.
want nobody there. And I got
I'm
there.
not gonna be nice to be around.
Yeah, and she was there, and then it was fine. I was on the phone about the whole way home. And anyway, I didn't want nobody there for if it didn't go the way I wanted it to. I was going to be really upset.
Were you scared you were going to break something?
Yeah. No, I was prepared. From what I'd heard, we weren't going to be close. So.
Right. Now, did you have family out there too, Harris?
My wife was there,
Okay.
and actually I think one of her maybe both her daughters were there too.
Okay. It's a big moment. I mean,
It
like you
is.
said, you've been fishing this a long time on the leaderboard, but not just that. Obviously, you're going home with some money. You're going
Yes.
home with a win here. How did it feel when that final weight got called out?
Relief. I mean, yeah, I was more happy for our crew and everything, and for, you know, third place, you know, can't beat that. I don't know. I just don't really, you know, I'm not really a person to really get real excited. But I was happy and
Sure.
and
Keep it keep it chill, not necessarily wearing it on your sleeve.
yeah.
And that certainly helps when it doesn't go your way. Brent said, I don't know if I could follow that. I'm not the same.
No, I wear my emotions out.
Sure.
Harris knows that. I get real uptight. My emotions are not easy for me to hide.
Well, I mean,
especially when it comes to doing this.
It's a competition, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you win or you don't. And,
Yeah. Well, I'm getting paid to go try to win tournaments. Essentially,
yeah,
you go fish tournaments. You don't want to get beat. Nobody wants to get beat at anything.
absolutely.
And the more you do it, the more you want to win them. Especially when you win them, you want to
Keep going.
You want to win the next one worse than you won the last one.
That's right.
So
So this doesn't like scratch that itch. Now it just makes the itch
no,
worse.
it makes it a lot worse.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes it a lot worse for sure.
It's like
when you win it, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's more pressure the next time you fish than there was the last time if you won it. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, well, we won it last time, so we need to try to do better.
And there's
this
still
time.
the elusive spot on the fountain here, waiting to be had.
I think the boat's name's on it from the KWLA now, right?
Oh,
Right,
you're
yes,
right.
it
That's
is.
true.
Yeah,
What, 2019,
I
2021?
think it's 21 or 22.
That's right.
21, I think is when
That's
it was.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that was fun then
Okay.
too.
Boy,
That was-
what a day. Did y'all celebrate that night?
A little while. Not.
Look, yeah, I think Eli celebrated more than anybody.
Yeah.
He had
he
had all his friends down there on the boat. And
Okay.
I think we left the boat about around, I guess, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and we went home and finally had supper.
I bet you're not eating that much that day.
No.
No, I didn't eat very much that day. So.
Yeah. What
Mate Eli Blake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got Eli, Blake, David Herbst. I think they hung around for a while. I did.
Well, they came once. They came down to the boat after we found out that we ended up third place. They came down to the boat, and then after that, just people just coming to the boat. We had a big crowd on there.
Yeah.
And how about the 2 weeks since? What's it been like? I mean, obviously you're still preparing for the next thing. Do you even have time to kind of sit and ruminate on the win or on the?
I mean, I'm trying to get ready to go to Bermuda.
Okay.
I want to go win Bermuda again. Big Rock, we'll deal with that next year.
Sure.
It's time to move on to Bermuda.
Yeah, and I've been just trying to catch up on some of my work, so when we do go to Bermuda, I can take off some time. So
Okay.
Oh, y'all are all business. I'm telling you what. You're like Pat Mahomes winning the
Well,
Super
I was
Bowl.
gonna say we just
No.
on to the next game, one game at a time.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've thought about it a bunch, but it's a lot to get ready for the next one. And there's some big tournaments coming up in Bermuda. Of course, the money's not the same, but going over there and what you could see over there is
Now you mentioned, but that's the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
You just won that last year.
We
too?
did.
Last year. Okay.
Yeah.
On a roll, Builder's Choice.
Well, you mentioned that that's not the same money, but is that the prestige of that one? Is that high up there, and you feel?
Yeah. That thing's really hard to win because you got people from all over and people that are really good. That's just like when during that last day of the tournament, the Torta boat hooked up and fought a fish for a couple hours, and that guy Cookie Murray, I was worried about him. I was like, man, he's going to have a nice one. I fished against him from Dominican Republic to Bermuda, and he's won everything there is about to win. And it's saying like we killed a 900-pounder in Pirates Cove in 2018, and the week before that, and the White Marlin Open, he killed like a 800-something pounder.
Oh, jeez.
So I was just thinking, this is going to be about right. I got one a little bit up on him on my 911 over his 800-something pounder, and he's going to knock me out here in the Big Rock on the last day. And anyway, he ended up turning it loose, and it was not quite big enough. But I was worried about him.
What was that like that day coming in on Tuesday? The crowd was hot. I mean, it was packed.
It really was. It's just amazing just backing into a slip and seeing all those people lying around that dock there, and everybody yelling and screaming, and it's spectacular. It really is.
No.
It just gives you goosebumps when you start backing in there.
What did you think you had when you were coming back in?
We all had guessed. Mine was 430. Eli was like 440.
Oh wow!
David, he was right around. I think he was right around 440.
Y'all are good guessers.
No
So
doubt.
that was after we put a tape measure and stuff on it. We kind of measured it. So
And do the whole calculation.
So we were pretty close.
Yeah.
We kind of had a little bit of an idea of what it was going to be, but
So when they shouted out, y'all were like, "Oh yeah, that's about what we thought."
yeah. And then you hear a lot of people was like, oh, when they called the weight, and I was just thinking, well, all right, we're on the border on the 20, so
Yeah, I mean that's
really.
really.
And there's 301 boats in the tournament, but there was only I think 80 something boats in that category. So I was like, all right, our chances, that's the most expensive deal to get in on the tournament, but that's your best chance of winning anything because you're fishing against less boats.
Yeah, your best odds.
Right.
So I was pretty happy. I was just like, I've been beat off the leaderboard once before in the Big Rock, and I was in third, and I was like, this is setting up to be just like last time. So
Well, and it's a thing. This year was one of those years where you come in thinking there could be maybe a $4 million winner if you get the Fabulous Fisherman and you're in the Super 20 and you win first place. Of course, Rom comes in, gets that Fabulous Fisherman prize, gets knocked out of first immediately, and neither of them are in the Super 20. So now there's still a lot of money left on the table when y'all go out Tuesday morning. And of course, this year we got the special $3 million boats, $1 million boats, right? We've got Game Time went home with 1.8. Rom and Release went home with 1.8. Y'all went home with 1.5, 1.6.
we had 1.8. Rom had like 2.2.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. That's what it is.
Yeah.
2.2 and then two 1.8 boats. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I think we only got our first $1 million boat in 2017 with Runoff. So it's just incredible to see how this year's tournament worked out. How about the fish itself? You're in the chair, right? You're on the bridge. You're in the chair.
Right.
Tell me about the fish itself, and when did it hit the line? Anything you want to share about it?
It was a stubborn fish. We got him on a pitch. We had him on a circle hook, and he was just stubborn. He just wanted to stay down, and we just kind of slowly wore him down. Seems like that, I'll wind him in, get about 50 feet from the boat, and he'll just take off 100 yards, and then work it again and 100 yards.
When did you see that first jump?
Right off the hookup.
Oh, wow.
When he first jumped. We had him on a leader a couple of times, and he jumped in. And we knew when he jumped, that he was probably going to be a kill fish.
Yeah, sure.
So,
you said he fought it for how long?
3 hours, I think they said.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I think it was just under 3 hours.
That's a sizable fight. You said stubborn. You weren't lying.
It was stubborn. It was so stubborn. Every time we get the leader on it, fish will start jumping away.
And it's funny, obviously it's not your biggest fish. Y'all brought a 911 pounder for Pirates Cove, but it ended up being a pretty good fish money wise. How about the fight itself? Is that a good fight? Is that a short fight, a long fight based on what y'all normally average?
That 911.
No, I mean the one for Big Rock. Is that 3 hour fight? Is that pretty typical?
No, I think that was a long fight.
Okay.
I think that's as long as I ever sat in the chair.
That's what I was going to ask next. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's hot out there. What's that like, sitting in that chair for 3 hours? Are they pouring water on you or anything like that? Are you sipping Gatorade? I mean,
no, they'll just hand me a water every now and then, and other than that, it wasn't real hot, and it's kind of time just flew by. I did not realize I was out there that long.
And we cover these stories, but we don't always know what it's like out there. As you're fighting the fish, what's your main focus?
Try not to run over it.
Okay.
Mainly, especially
just
on fish. Because we got the
adjusting.
leader on it a couple times, and the fish would go jumping away, and I was like, man, this fish is gonna be stubborn. And then one time it came up jumping to the boat, and I was like, all right. And then we got video of this thing. We don't need no more video. Just next time if we get a shot at it, we need to go ahead and try and take it. And I don't know. You think of all the things that can go wrong, which there's a lot of them. It don't take much. I mean, so. We had some bad luck Monday. We pulled a nice fish off at the boat, and then we set back out, and then we hooked like a 150 pounder, and I ran over it with the boat and cut it off, and we didn't get no points for that one. So it can go bad very quick. So I was thinking the whole time, I was like, man, this fish is stubborn. The longer you got it on, your chances go down. Of course, but
the more things can go wrong, right?
But fish was hooked good. It was just stubborn. It was just a mean fish. We never spent nowhere near that long on anything like that. And it's just, we had 30 pounds of drag on it just about the whole time. And it's just, that's a lot. And it just did not want to come. Which we were in some warmer water when we hooked the fish. And like an hour into the fight, we got out. I kind of that warmer water and got into just a little bit cooler water. And it seemed like the fish kind of started digging a little harder when we got in that cooler water.
Oh, wow.
But like that 900 pounder we caught, we had him in the boat in like 20, 25 minutes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
so it's fighting the fish.
And they're not always like that either, but that was really short time for that fish. But you don't ever know how long it's going to take with them. Some fish are just mean.
That's funny. Brent mentioned that they brought it in at say 4:30, and the crowd just kind of like groans.
Yeah.
Because
they're looking for that first.
Everybody
place.
wants the first place fish.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Whereas they don't realize that you all are super excited because you're like, hey, we're third on the leaderboard. We're in the first place in the Division 6.
We were excited, but I think we all knew it was going to be a long week, and we were all. I'm sure I was about like Harris. I didn't think it'd hold. Honestly.
You're like, that'll be off the leaderboard by the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
Well, I remember when I'm watching Big Rock TV, you're on the docks, and you definitely had a little bit of disappointment. Like, that's, hoping it'd be bigger. Of course, now I know that you would guess 430, so it actually was a pound over expectations.
Yeah.
But, you still got to bring it in when there's no one else that's come in with that Super 20, right? I mean, if you hadn't, let's say you took a look at the side of the boat and said, well, it's maybe too close to the line, let's just release it and get the points. And that last boat to come in on Saturday may have walked away with Super 20. So you definitely made the right choice.
Yeah. I mean, it's not hard to make the wrong choice either. It's just it's hard to judge them in the water.
I was going to say, how hard when it's around that 400? How hard is it to make that decision when you're trying to judge?
It's hard because nobody wants to bring one in too small. I mean,
And
I've done it. It's it happens.
Sure, and it's fighting on the side of the boat still before it gets gaffed, right? I mean, it's
This fish I think was about cooked when we finally got it up there. It was about done.
dang.
So the last time it was about done.
Well, what's that like when you're trying to make decisions? Is it a whole crew decision? We're all trying to decide.
Well, we weren't even trying to decide then. That was just we get it up there, stick the gaff in it.
Sure.
We knew
Because when you saw it,
Yeah,
jump,
we
you
knew it
made
was going to be
that.
over 400 pounds.
Okay.
But yeah, we've had it quite a few times. We've looked down, we turned them loose, and we've had a few times where we wanted to take it and we pull them off at the boat. I mean, it's just they're hard to catch. I mean, they're hard to. Everything's got to go just right.
That's right.
It's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, the week we talked to the captains, including Brent, for our Marlin Master Series, the question I think we asked all four was, have we normalized catching blue marlin? Because we're acting like it's nothing now.
Right,
Because
if you live here, if you cover this, it's not as. But no, this is it's
a really hard thing.
Yeah.
This is big game hunting in the rawest, most competitive form, right?
Yeah.
And in today's, I mean, you're on a boat and you've got great technology. Builder's Choice is a boat that's got a lot of toys on it, but it doesn't matter if you don't execute correctly when that fish is on the line. You talked about the two mates that were. Is anybody else on the boat helping y'all out that day?
Yeah, I had a buddy from home, Chandler Taylor. He come just as a third mate / gaff man.
Okay. So it's just the five of you that's able to operate with the.
We had other crowd on the boat that
Sure.
get stuff out the way and whatever, but when it comes to putting a gaff in them and all that, that's somebody that needs to be a little bit quick and
Absolutely.
strong.
Now,
And we're all big. I say we pound for pound, we're the biggest crew there is by far.
There's a football team out there.
There's nobody even close. Yeah. We're pushing about $2,000 between the four of us.
no, but that is the thing. Like I always think back to Top Dog in 2019, where Todd is cooked absolutely from fighting that thing for 6-7 hours, whatever it was, and now these other three dudes, because the brother had gone back to Maryland, have to somehow, because it couldn't fit through the transom, had to somehow try to get it over the side. Obviously, it didn't work out, but the size of the people on the boat, that comes into play.
Yeah. well, luckily on this boat, that 900-pounder we caught, man, that thing, we got a big door in the back of the boat.
Okay,
So it
okay.
worked out easy. Ryan had a small door. Matter of fact, after I was going home that day after we killed that fish, Ryan, or after, actually, I think it was Saturday evening, I was like, good going, your fish, you done good. I was like, yeah. I said, it ain't no 900. I think his was 914.
That's right. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but 900,000 and 1.8 million is a big difference too.
That's true.
I was like, well, he's got a point there. 900, what I want a 914 or 1.8 million. It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So speaking of football, is it like an offensive lineman, defensive lineman group on the big Builder Choice? Is that what we're talking about there?
yeah, it gets rough on there for sure. Especially when it gets rough on
Not a
there.
lot of elbow room with a lot of big guys like you all, huh?
Yeah. Him and Eli are typically the two down in the cockpit back of the chair. They standing there holding rods, and I'm sure they hit elbows a lot, shove each other around.
Well, we get owners obviously that sometimes sit in the chair, but this is if the fish is coming on, that's going to be you in the chair, right?
Most of the time it is, but not necessarily. Like the first day, the first fish we caught, we had a hero on the boat.
Oh, that's right.
And so we had him get in the chair, fighting
Okay.
that first fish.
Okay.
Give
I
him
think
an
he brought in
opportunity.
a dolphin for something later that day, right?
He did not. We didn't catch a dolphin.
Oh, I'm thinking of because there's a hero each day. I'm thinking
Yeah.
of the one on
He
Tuesday.
caught a blue one. He did.
You did.
He caught
Did.
that blue one.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We were looking at taking that fish, and we pulled it off, but
Well-
he was angry on it.
Well, I want to know. You've been fishing tournament for 30 years. How did you get involved with Big Rock to begin with?
Oh, basically, fished with my dad, and we had one of the first Jarrett Bays built
Oh wow.
through Randy Ramsey, and
Builder's Choice, or
it was Builder's Choice. It was a 43, and once we had it built, we entered the Big Rock, and I think Mike Thompson ran the boat, and I think my dad caught the first blue marlin on that boat, and that was back in, I want to say 89, maybe 90,
Okay,
somewhere like
okay.
that.
what was your dad's name?
Jack Huddle.
Okay. And did y'all? I mean, did you know Randy Ramsey before and first picking Jarrett Bay?
We knew Randy Ramsey because when he used to run charters, we had a little small, actually had a Phoenix and a Bertram, and we used to keep them right there at Harker's Island, and Randy used to run out of there.
How about
and
that?
So that's how we got to know him, and my dad got to be real good friends with him, and Randy built us the boat,
And the
And so-
Builder's Choice, is that the name of the family business, or?
no, business is Trader Construction,
Okay,
but my dad named the boat Builder's Choice since
Sure.
he was a builder. So
that's a good name.
yeah,
So you grew up in New Bern,
grew up in New Bern.
and so did you grow up around offshore fishing?
All the time. I remember, when I was, I guess, in my teens, I remember going with my dad fishing. And actually, I do remember fishing the Big Rock back in the, like in the mid 70s.
Oh wow!
So we fished I remember fishing a couple of times back then.
It's a little different now than it was back then.
It is a lot different.
I mean, what's it been like to watch it grow to where it's been over the last 30 years?
Oh, it's amazing. Is the amount of boats they have, the prize money, and just everything that's going on, all the activities they have, and all the sponsors. Because I remember, like I say, back in the mid 70s, I think we were all at Morehead City Yacht Base, and that's where everybody was.
That's right.
Because I remember just walking down the docks there as a little teenager and seeing everybody get ready. But now, I mean, we're all up and down the North Carolina coast, from Hatteras, down to Wilmington.
Yeah, they're coming in from just for the day, right? Coming
Yeah.
in from Oak Island, from Hatteras, from Morehead City, obviously, because we are limited on our amount of boat slips, and so as the tournament grows, people have to find a different way to get into the boundary of the tournament, not necessarily just from Morehead City.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, we've had captains come in here and say, Big Rock used to just be a trailer in a gravel parking lot, and now it's we had a young mate on release call it the Super Bowl, and it truly is. It's our Super Bowl. It's our Masters. You talked about going to the Triple Crown and seeing boats that were from off, and Big Rock has become pretty global in itself.
Oh yeah,
You're competing with boats that are coming from all over.
yeah. The whole tournament, the whole Blue Marlin fishery now, the miles that people are traveling to, to go fish these tournaments. I mean, I would say you got 6 or 7, 8 tournaments. Skips tournaments in Bahamas, the Big Rock, the Bermuda Triple Crown stuff, and White Marlin Open, Pirates Cove, and I mean you got people going from all over, burning a lot of fuel, covering a lot of ground
For sure.
to do these tournaments. And
Of course, the boats are faster now, so that makes it a little
the
easier.
boats are faster. Thank goodness. Harris has got a fast boat. I love a fast boat.
How fast does that boat go?
She's about 35, 36 knots now. And
Yeah, we cruise.
cruise
Okay.
speed.
Yeah.
And just to give people listening who may not understand, look back to that first 42-footer your dad had. How fast do you think he went?
I was probably 25 knots.
Okay, that's still pretty good.
So, and that was a fast boat. back
No doubt.
when it
Yeah, that was a
built.
real fast
I was
boat.
gonna say, I
back then.
thought you were gonna say something like 15,
Yeah.
No,
just
that was-
trawling speed out there or something. No,
Was there any question, Harris, when you grew up, you were going to be a offshore fisherman?
no, not really, because I just loved it.
Yeah.
It was fun going out there, and it seems like every day we go out there, we usually see something different.
Really?
Yeah, it was just amazing. Every day you look for a new adventure. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, even. I mean, I grew up going off. Did you grow up going offshore, JJ?
Maybe once or twice.
Okay, I grew up
Yeah.
going offshore in small boats.
Yeah.
We'd follow the weed line out to the Gulf and stuff like that. But I think I saw one time a sailfish jump. But you don't understand what these guys are seeing offshore. We had the Big Rock Big Hero come in on Tuesday. I don't know what boat he was on, but he said you can't understand what it's like to be out there and suddenly see a school of dolphin, of mahi jumping, and they're so colorful, and it's truly the things you're seeing are not things that everybody else is seeing on a daily basis.
No. Well, just Blue Marlin fish. I mean, to me, Blue Marlin. I mean, man, I love going wahoo fishing, catching meat fish, trigger fishing, catching stuff to eat. But when you have a Blue Marlin on your teaser and then you switch it off and watch him eat a mackerel, and your turn's just right, and he's there in that clear blue water with no foam on top, and just trying to eat that mackerel. There ain't nothing no prettier than that, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there just ain't. We've had some really pretty bites. That fish, Big Rock, was, a mackerel bite like that. He pitched one in Bermuda a couple years ago. The first year we went over there, and that's probably the prettiest bite I ever seen. That was 700-800 pounder. Just, I mean, that fish, it was just mouth out of the water real slow. Then we were in a perfect turn, and just it was just like the mackerel was, 12, 16-inch mackerel. It was just disappeared, and the fish was just behind it. And it was just like it was, man, I'll never forget that bite. But it's just seeing that, that's what you're always looking for.
Yeah.
Zack and I are always, we're there in the media pit, and always there's one or two that's never been at the Big Rock before, and they're like, well, they're asking you questions and stuff, and you're like, oh, you'll see when they put it up there, and they're like, well, and then you look at their faces. This person's from Iowa or something, come working at WCTI or something.
Maybe they've never been to the beach really before.
Yeah,
they came
and
here.
there's a 600-pound animal in front of them, and you can just see them. Their eyes get really big.
Yeah, really fast moving animal.
Yeah.
See, that's why I'm curious. Is again, we see it hoisted up, and it's beautiful.
Right.
But I'm sure it's a different kind of beautiful out there in the water.
Oh man, it's unbelievable.
I mean, the colors, right? Just alone, the movement, the speed, the power, all.
Yep.
I mean, this is the defensive end, middle linebacker, of running back of the ocean. This is the top thing here.
Yeah, they are. There's nothing like it.
Best
Fishing.
thing is when they get lit up, like on a teaser or something, and their pec fins are sitting out there, and they're all
Bright blue.
and it's, I mean,
Yeah, man, you can tease them right onto the boat to where I can tease them. I mean, sometimes some of the fish, until you pull your teaser out of the water, which is be right beside where I'm standing in the bridge. I'm looking down, the teaser's out of the water, and the fish is still right there. Like he can see it hanging there. He just don't know how he's going to get it, and he's wheeling around, and then finally he wheels around. He'll eat the mackerel that we got behind the boat.
Incredible.
And that's pretty. There's nothing no cooler than
With
that, honestly.
With so many years out there, you said you've seen different things every time. Can you tell me some of the things you've seen out there that were special to you, that stick in the brain?
I guess seeing my first blue marlin behind a bait, well, actually it was behind a plug, is when we're fishing on our very first year at Bay. And I was sitting up there, I was about half asleep. And I looked back behind one of these plugs, and I saw it was like a little stick going through the water. And then all of a sudden I hopped off and I yelled up. I said, I think it's a blue marlin back there. And sure enough, by that time I turned back around and he just went on that plug and just
How old were you?
inhaled it. I guess I was maybe in my 30s then.
Okay.
Or, late 20s, early 30s.
So you said that was your first. I wonder, is that when blue marlin fishing kind of got its hook in you?
It really did.
Yeah, because it's different.
Just seeing that first bite, and it really did. And then, then I, through the years, got a little bit better, and I started hooking them. And the first time you ever, pitch to one, or, that's outstanding too, just watching the bite. I love that.
You've been doing it how long? You said about 30 years at Big Rock?
We fished, yeah.
And hadn't had any luck, you said, as far as getting on the leaderboard or whatever? Were you starting to think, is it ever going to happen?
I was kind of wondering that.
Eventually, right? It's got to at some point, right?
Well, play the odds. It will happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know when, but look at Rom.
Sure. Or Casey Wagner, when he won, it had been about 30 years for him as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's luck plus preparation.
Again,
right?
I think we're normalizing catching blue marlin. Like, oh yeah,
it just happens.
And part of that is the fishing is getting better and better. Like,
I feel like the fish has definitely has got better.
Yeah.
I think there's more fish around. I do.
Like every
but
year,
there's a lot more people fishing. I feel like here now, there's more people. That's when they're leaving the dock to go fishing. They're going straight marlin fishing. And
Okay.
Used to, I feel like a few years ago, it weren't quite like that,
Yeah.
And of course, everybody's got sonars now. So if one boat leaves with a sonar, that's really like 3 or 4 boats fishing. You know what I mean? Because it's covering a lot more ground. So.
Sure.
Now you said marlin fishing's got better. You mean here or just
I
everywhere?
No, not everywhere. It kind of has
Sure.
spots, It kind of, some places it gets better, some places it don't. And it kind of goes up and down everywhere, but it's got better here. I mean, I feel like, look at the fishing they're having in Hawaii right now is like off the charts, crazy. They ain't never had fishing like that, and it's unbelievable. They're fishing. They're probably the best fishing there is going on in the world right now.
What do you think
in Hawaii.
Fisheries related or technology related?
It's probably some of all of it.
Yeah, okay.
I'd say it was probably I think the fishing's just better, but also the technology's a lot better, and people are going harder at it too. I think there's more people getting addicted to it. I mean,
Well, we always use the Swansboro Rotary as like a barometer of how Big Rock's going to go based on how that went, because it's right before, and you've written about Swansboro Rotary
Yeah,
forever.
they broke a record. Of course, it's a smaller tournament.
Sure.
We're talking like, I think they hit 70 boats or something close to that.
Right.
I don't think they'd ever hit more than 50, 52,
But
something like
but
that.
the releases and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, unbelievable.
Like even when you started the paper, it was nothing like it is now, right?
No. I mean, I think we hit the record. Yeah, the record was like 180 or something like that. And then 2 years ago or last year, it went up to like 320 or just a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
Leading up to this year's tournament, wasn't there a boat that like caught and released like 5 or 6 in a day?
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the boat, but it's definitely been out there.
It probably used to be a year for somebody back in the day, right?
Yeah, and it was honestly surprising because Big Rock was a little slow this year.
Yeah, that's true.
I think like 4 years ago we had 14 fish. The next year we had 11 fish come to the dock. So this year,
Slow weigh-in wise.
yeah, weigh-in wise,
Yeah,
yeah.
not release wise.
I'm glad it was slow.
I know. I bet you do. I bet he's. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, it took me a couple of days just to get my nerves back after Saturday.
Did y'all fish Wednesday and Thursday as well?
No, we laid.
Okay.
We fished.
Wednesday. And
No, we
then
fished
late.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We laid
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How nice was it to fish on Saturday? Just kind of be able to take your mind off of.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Brain is sort of just locked
the
up.
one good thing fishing with Saturday is like, okay, I feel like I'm protecting myself a little bit,
Sure.
but then you're sitting there and I'm listening to the radio, and then crowd on the boat, with Starlink, everybody's got internet, everybody's looking at their phone to see what everybody's doing. And I feel like everybody knows now, I don't want to hear nothing of what is going on. Like, I'm hearing it on the radio. Like, I don't want to hear nobody talk about it. Like, just let me think about what's going on. And a couple of the guys, my old boss man, Anthony, he came up in the bridge with his boys, and his boy was like, look, this boat just boated one right there. And I was like, hey, I can hear
We
y'all
don't need to hear
talking.
all that, yeah.
Y'all be quiet. I don't want to hear none of this. And I didn't hear a boat talking, they boated one, but I weren't looking at what they were in. I was trying to pay attention to what I was doing. And I was a couple of them boats. Like I said, when Cookie was hooked up for a little while, and then I was just like, man, it was the day went by really quick, and I feel like 1 o'clock, it's like, okay, it stopped. Time stopped.
Everything's frozen.
And then we did catch a fish, and I just was like, man, this is going to be a long day.
And y'all are still going for a fish on Saturday, right? I mean, it happens.
Yeah,
We've
definitely.
had boats bring in a second fish that
Yeah.
was bigger than the first.
Yeah,
so,
You're definitely still trying to. You wanted? Yeah, I was going for a 520
Sure.
all day.
Get the whole thing. Right?
Yeah, of course. Why win 1.8 when you can win 3.5?
That's right.
Harris, in those 30 years, had you come close? Had there been one that got away from you?
There has.
Yeah.
I know when I was fishing with my dad, we had one that was, I guess, around 500 pounds or maybe a little bit bigger or something like that. And he came home and I had him on maybe 15, 20 minutes or something. But it happens. It happened a lot over in Bermuda last year. We lost a lot of big fish.
Brent, you said you got knocked off at third place before. Well, tell us about that experience.
Yeah,
What boat was that?
I was running the boat in the floor plan. We were third place for a few hours, and we got knocked off. The crowd. I came in there. Mike Thompson called me. He's like, "When are you gonna go do your lie detector?" I was like, "Not really. I feel like I'm gonna get beat off by the end of the day." We did.
Oh.
The fish was like 114 inches long, and then it weighed like 427. Real skinny fish. So.
I think I remember this was like 2016, something like that.
It would have been 2000 and I think 17.
Okay.
It would have been
'cause
2017.
you started on Builder's Choice 19, 18?
18.
Yeah.
Well, I started running for the Big Rock in 19. I started full time on it with everything else in 18.
Okay.
So you didn't get to enjoy that third place too long that year, huh?
No, I did not. I just kind of figured that was what happened.
Well, let me ask you this: a little ego boosting here, because captains and owners they pair up and they change off, and you're always looking for someone to support you as a captain. As an owner, you're looking for a captain that's going to get you where you need to go. Things have been pretty good the last
It's
5 years.
It's been a pretty good duo.
Pretty good pairing up here. Are you happy with Captain Gaskill here?
I'm very happy with him.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I mean,
And conversely, you're always very complimentary of Harris. Brent.
Well, it's I guess for me, it's I don't know. I grew up at the boat at Jarrett Bay, so being on one of those boats, always knowing. I knew his dad, and then knowing Harris and seeing him around the dock, used to. It was like, oh man, there's Harris. That crowd's got it figured out.
No doubt.
And then Anthony Flores bought that 43, their old boat, and he had that for like 6 months, and I rented it for him. Then he ended up getting a bigger boat, and then.
Oh wow, floor plan was the old builder's choice.
Yeah,
How about that?
One of the floor plans was, and then he bought another boat, which was a Gary Davis boat, and then I was kind of running that, and we were tied up on the waterfront. We weren't really a charter boat. I would take some charter, some overflow from Stephen Drone and all that crowd, and I guess the main reason we were tied up there was to start with. I didn't really want to go there, but it ended up being the best thing for me because I met a lot of crowd and learned a lot from Stephen and Thomas and all that crowd.
That's Stephen, bill collector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That crowd's done a long time. They're really good. So I got to learn from a lot of crowd like that, and then learn stuff from Harris. And it kind of that first year we went to the DR in 2017. We only fished just a handful of days, and the next year when we went back over there, I was like, oh, we got to fish some more days. We need to get some crowd here fishing. So he told me I could run some trips, get some people over there, and we ran some trips, and that helped more than everything. We both quickly figured out that if I could take crowd fishing before he got there, his fishing was going to be better, which it seemed like always the big days was always right before he got there for some reason. But, his best buddy would come over and fish a couple of days, and we'd catch 7 or 8, and then Harris would come there and we'd catch 4 or 5. And it's like, yeah, well, it just is like this. But
as long as you're catching.
Yeah, but when it comes to the tournaments and stuff, it was a big help. And you go through a lot of emotions down there, and that greatly sped up our process. And then I don't know, just being, I always wanted to be on one of these boats, and this crowd I knew. So
now, how'd y'all end up pairing up?
Well, I guess it would have been, you had to have, I took the boat to Ocean Reef.
Well, we took it down to Fort Lauderdale for the boat show.
Yep, done a bunch of boat shows on that boat when it was new.
Yeah, and then we took it to Ocean Reef.
Yeah,
you took it down there, and I think it was the Harris Marlin Club, and I had you to run the boat there.
No, I think I took it there, and I would clean it and get the baits ready, and Harris would run it, and then I think we did that summer, and then I think I was home. The Virginia Beach tournament was the first time I ran it for a tournament. I was home, I think, the year before Bobby Garman had ran it.
Right.
And Harris called me like 2 days ahead of time. He's like, "What are you doing in a few days?" I think I was working on my house, building a breezeway. I was like, "I ain't got no plans." He's like, "Want to come run the boat for Virginia Beach?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." So Joe up there done it, and we ended up having we had really good sail fishing. That's when we were running down like 10 miles off the beach off Oregon Inlet. And
yeah,
had some really good fishing, and that kind of just, after that, more boat shows. And
just kind of worked out.
Then we went to the DR, and it all just kind of played out good, really.
I remember talking to Brent last year when y'all won the Bermuda, and he was the president of the Harris Huddle fan club. He was singing your praises. So what is your philosophy for supporting your captain and your crew? Because obviously they're fans.
I don't know what it is.
Well,
I try to give him a hard time as much as possible, so keep him on his toes.
Yeah, it's...
Well, it's not just Brent. The Big Rock also has a lot of nice things to say about the Huddle family and how long y'all have been around the tournament and how you run things. And like you said it before, clearly it was a good outfit.
Well, I mean, he knew my mother, and there was always good stuff about the Huddle family coming from her, and then of course Randy. I've always been really close with him and the whole Jarrett Bay family, and Tate, Mike Thompson, the whole crowd. I've literally gone around that boatyard and aggravated the more crap out of them for a long time when I was not running boats. So I think they like me a lot better now than what they did when I was about 16 right
Sure.
now. Sure. But no, it's nice to be on one of the boats and work with a crowd I've known, you know.
Right.
And you kind of know each other's history, and you know, it goes good. Harris knows it's just he knows I know what I need to do, and I know he knows what he needs to do, and it kind of, you know, it goes good.
That's a good working relationship.
How many days a year are y'all fishing?
I don't know. We're probably fishing 50 days.
Probably so. I don't know.
Is that hard to balance with your day job?
It really is.
Yeah.
I like to fish a lot more.
Yeah.
I know Brent would like me to fish a lot more.
Yeah.
It's just right now. It's just hard for me to really find the time.
Sure.
To get out there, but I'm be over in Bermuda almost all of July. So.
Oh, really? Is that how long y'all stay over there?
We'll be there a little over 3 weeks.
Like a mix of charters and tournament?
It's just
It'll
basically
be just him, because the tournaments are, you got a tournament and it's like 3 days, and then you got like 3-4 days there's not a tournament, then it's another tournament.
Oh, I gotcha.
And so they're all real
So
close
3
together.
tournaments back to back
They're
to back,
real
right?
close together, and that's, I don't know if I want. I mean, a lot of crowd have charters, you know, they do strictly charters, but they like Bull's over there, and his charters are usually the same charters every year.
Sure.
I don't want to go over there and go fish a tournament with a crowd I haven't fished with.
No, absolutely
It's
not.
A lot of money. I say a lot of money. I fished of a lifetime over there. I need Harris on there for that.
You want to be around with people you
Yeah.
know and you trust, and got chemistry. You know, you work well together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Harris, is the day coming when the retirement papers are going to be filed and you're going to fish more than 50 days a year?
I don't know. I got to pay for the sport somehow. So.
Yeah, he needs to keep working some.
Support your habit.
He needs to support our tournament fishing.
Brent says, you go ahead.
Brent says, you keep working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's an expensive thing, fishing offshore for blue marlin, but obviously it's worked out pretty well for 2024.
Yeah. This season did not start off very good, so they got to do that Big Rock. I was kind of happy. You know, the first tournament we fished in the Bahamas, we didn't do that great. The custom shootout, we saw some fish, but we didn't work out. And then Cape Fear, we had some bad luck. And Swansboro, we watched Shane catch a dozen underneath our rigger. That was fun. So I think between Shane having the awesome fishing that he had, and we were sitting there watching him, and me getting hauled up about 6 times the following week, changing wheels and trying to get wheels right. And yeah, I'm glad it worked out.
So we didn't go to Big Rock Brim with confidence, is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't have any confidence at all, actually.